This is crazy. So, Highguard developers are blaming gamers, content creators, and journalists, although not all journalists. Some journalists are like, no, they're great and they're fine because they've given a positive review of their game for failing, not the fact that they made the game as is. This is very strange, and I think it's indicative of some of the way these companies operate. They are in their own little bubble. They don't really seek external feedback because it's almost like they think they know best. But what you've got to remember with Highguard, irregardless of what happened with its marketing, with the game itself, or anything like that, it had almost 100,000 players on Steam, and then the next day, it literally lost over 90% of its players. If that isn't an indictment that your game is not interesting enough in this world of free-to-play games at every corner, then I don't know what to tell you. Going around and blaming other people for your failures is actually insane, especially when you're attacking the very people that, well, are the customers for your product. It makes no sense. But we need to break this down because this article is it's one of the most like, it's eye-opening in a lot of ways, but it's very strange as well in other ways, and it's a bit sad, right? And it must also be said, it's never great when people lose their job, and people could be incredible at their job and just working on the wrong projects. That's not entirely their fault. They're doing what they're told to do, and that's fine, and nobody should be personally attacked. Now, obviously, I'm a content creator. I've dealt with this, right? I know not everyone is equipped to deal with thousands of people speaking to them at any moment in time. So it's a very unique thing. So I can get why when people say things out in public, especially on social media, especially on horrific platforms like X, you're going to get this, you will get a reaction from certain people. But we got to go through this. Like I said, it's such an interesting, yeah, let's do it, right? So, reflecting on shipping my first game, Highguard. Apologies for length. And I will react to this as well, by the way, guys. I will stop at various points because this is just crazy. Apologies for the length. Been waiting to say a lot of this for a while. The day leading to the Game Awards 2025 was amongst the most exciting of my life. After 2.5 years of passionately working on Highguard, we were ready to reveal it to the world. The future seemed bright, which it would do, right? If you were working on something for years and years and years, I can't wait to show this to everyone. And then you go, here's my, I'm trying to find something on my desk. I don't know what I've got. What's this? I've got a rag. This is a rag. This is what I clean my glasses with. Microfiber. I've been working on this for 2.5 years. Check out my rag. And then people are like, that's a shit rag. And you're like, oh. I suppose the rag metaphor is quite good. For Highguard. It works, but it's not the best. Anyway, everyone I knew, this is where it gets mental. Everyone I knew who had any connection to the team or project had the same sentiments, right? So check this out. This is lightning in a bottle. It was a fart in a jar. I trust this team wholeheartedly. If there's one project nobody in the industry is worried will fail, it's yours. Hold on. What? Who would even say that to you unless you paid them money? I can't even, you see what I mean? Within seconds of the trailer running at the Game Awards, people were like, oh no, this just looks so generic. What are we doing here? All the initial impressions that came out, and I've been fair on the game, right? I haven't gone out and just ragged on the game. I've spoke about its strengths and its weaknesses, obviously. It's not a AAA game. They might want to say it. It's not got the polish of that. It doesn't have the content of that. It's not good enough. It is not good enough. Who the hell would tell them if there's one project nobody in the game industry is worried about its fail? It's yours. When it was the most generic mid game in a world where there's so much excellence. There's so many things wrong with that. Who would say that? Again, it might not be real. This might just be made up. But I want to believe the guy, right? I don't want to just say it's made up. This is mainstream written all over it. In what world? As soon as the trailer dropped, they must have looked at socials and gone, holy shit, we're getting hammered. Why? We've made the best game ever. If that was genuinely their response, they are delusional beyond belief. And who are advising these people? This makes me want to set up I bet people have done this. I'll set up a consultancy company. You pay me fucking 10 grand. I'll look at your game and I'll say if it's good or bad or what, right? We'll go from there. 10 grand's a starting fee as well. Oh my God. Maybe they did though. Maybe they brought people in and just went, oh, that's fucking great, lads. Nice job. Anyway, there's no way this will flop. It was a hero shooter with very mid aesthetics, not enough content, not great monetization. In 2026. could play this game all day. The internal pre-reveal feedback, even from unbiased sources, how would you even know that, was quite positive, and where it was negative, it was constructive and often actionable. People who played the game, including us, had a blast. And since we're an independent, self-published studio built with royalties in mind, many of us were hoping this could finally be the thing that broke the millennial financial curse. So that's code for we were not paid market rates. We were probably, I mean, again, I don't know this, but we were paid, let's just say, low rates, medium rates, not high rates. And then we were given a load of stock options in the game, basically. Essentially, revenue options, profit share options, whatever. So when the game is great and we make hundreds of millions, we all get a share in it. How anyone would think this game would make hundreds of millions? I mean, sure, if you hit gold with a live service game, you'll do it. Look at Helldivers. They did it. But why? There was nothing fucking like Helldivers available. It was unique. It still is unique to this day with the way it delivers live service content, right? Your game ain't, lads. What are we playing at here? This is crazy. But then the trailer came out and it was all downhill from there. Yeah, because the trailer was shit. The trailer was horrifically bad. And what gets me is they've got CGI animated shorts and trailers actually on their YouTube channel, which would have been... CGI isn't the best for like a gaming reveal, don't get me wrong, but it might have gone down a little bit better than what they showed. Their trailer didn't explain what the game was. That was the problem with the Game Awards show. It's like, what the hell are we looking at here? This is bonkers. Anyway, the trailer came out and it was downhill from there. And rightfully so. Like, remember, I'll say this, the internet, always remember this, it is the biggest bullshit detector. People sitting behind a computer, more often than not, will straight up tell you what they think because they've got no repercussions, really. If you do something and it's crap, that's fucking shit and I don't want to play it, they'll tell you straight to your face, right? So when they're all saying all the same thing, it isn't a hate campaign. It's like, shit, maybe we've done something wrong here, right? But no, they apparently knew better. Anyway, content creators love to point out the bias in folks' work who give positive previews after being flown out for an event. Okay. What? But ignore the fact that when their negative leaning content gets 10x the engagement of the positive, they've just got as much incentive to lean into disingenuous direction, whether consciously or not. Remember what I just said? It's the biggest bullshit detector, right? What do you think? I'll use me as an example, right? It's not fair to use other people. Imagine if I was flown out to this event and then every video I made was, this is the best thing I've ever seen in my life, right? This game's so good. It's got a great future. And I spoke about none of the negatives. When the negatives are glaringly obvious, that would be an extremely bad reflection on me because clearly I've been bought out. Clearly I've been paid, right? Doesn't matter if it's just a plane ride and some free goodies. It's still paying for their impressions. It's still, let's say, coercing their impression of the game, right? That's exactly what's happening. Here, this is, I mean, I don't know what this is. This is, I think, probably someone who's just looking at all the negativity on Twitter and going, oh, this must be it, you know, or looking on YouTube and it's all videos like why Highguard failed. This is the reason why, you know, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, because they're true. You know, it's the true. It's not disingenuous at all. If anything, this statement's disingenuous. It's crazy. Anyway, the hate started immediately. In addition to dogpiling on the trailer, I personally came under fire due to my naivety on Twitter. Now, I will say this. You should never attack people personally. I've never done this myself. I don't know why people enjoy doing it. It's just the internet. You get trolls, you get people who attack you. That's just going to happen, right? If you're any sort of public-facing person attached to any public-facing product and you go out there and people don't like it, they are going to tell you why. And some of them are just going to attack you because it's the internet, right? Which isn't great. I'm not saying that's great and you should just grow thick skin or whatever because I don't even think that's a thing. Like, you can't grow thick skin. It doesn't matter how many comments people leave. You could have 1,000 great comments, but that one negative comment will stick in your head, and it's just the way things go. Like, you can't just say, oh yeah, man up, right, or that kind of thing. It just doesn't work like that. Which almost all of my now former co-workers had learned to avoid during their previous game launches. After setting my Twitter account to private to protect my sanity, many content creators made videos and posts about me and my cowardice, amassing millions of views and inadvertently sending hundreds of angry gamers into my replies. They laughed at me for being proud of the game, told me to get out the McDonald's application, and mocked me for listing having autism in my bio, which they seemed to think was evidence that the game would be woke trash. All of this was very emotionally taxing, and it would be, right? I completely get that. There is much more constructive criticism that can be and has been said about Highguard's trailer, marketing and launch, but I don't think it's my place to comment on that. I don't think there is any way to know whether launch would have fared better or worse without the massive spotlight that was Right, I'll tell you this, right? Because what are we doing here? If you shadow dropped your game, you would have had 10,000 max concurrent players, and it would be where it is now. You had a spotlight at the end of the Game Awards show for reasons. Jeff Keighley liked your game. You put it at the end. Your trailer was rushed. It wasn't the best trailer, whatever. Then you had this whole thing of what the hell is Highguard? Why haven't they spoken about the game for, weeks and weeks, and the game's about to launch? What's this? Then it launches. People come in to check it out. Yes, there's going to be a lot of hate tourists there. There's going to be people only checking it out because they're like, what is this? Is this garbage? But you wouldn't have captured those players anyway without the marketing that the Game Awards given you. If anything, this was a golden opportunity. And if anything, this was the marketing actually working in your favor because it allowed a lot more people to try out the game. And if it had something going for it, they would have stuck around. But I've told you this before, time and time again. And I'm going to say it again. League of Legends, Apex Legends, right? Which I'm sure a lot of the people on Highguard are familiar with. Overwatch, Marvel Rivals, Valorant, Helldivers. These are all live service games. Some of them are obviously paid for, like Helldivers. But you've got to pull people out of those games to get them into your game. To do that, your game has to be exceptional. It wasn't. It wasn't a trash game, but it wasn't exceptional. Like, what? We were turned into a joke from minute one, largely due to false assumptions about $1 million ad placement, which is true, and I did believe that myself. But they should have come out faster and said, no. They should have immediately said, straight away on official accounts, as soon as people were talking about that, we did not pay for this spot, right? Then that would have stopped this, but they didn't. Which even prominent journalists began to state as fact. Within minutes, it was decided this game was dead on arrival. That's not how these things go. And creators now had a free rage bait content for a month. Every one of our videos on social media got downvoted to hell. Comment sections were flooded with copy-paste meme phrases such as Concord 2, Titanfall 3 died for this. At launch, we received over 14,000 review bombs from its users with less than an hour of playtime. Many didn't even finish with tutorial, which is crazy, right? I do think that's crazy, review bombing when you've not even played the game. But think of games. Overwatch is a good example, right? They got review bombed to absolute shit and back on Steam. And they are doing okay. In fact, they literally doubled their all-time high recently because the devs got a kick up the arse and they sorted it out. They were like, no, we'll sort this out. They had competition from rivals and all kinds of other things, but they basically sorted it out, right? You don't even have that chance because your business literally would run for 2 weeks after launching and then it's ended. You've got rid of all the staff. It's like, it's fucking crazy. It's like, what are we talking about here? This is looking for problems where they don't exist. It's very odd. In discussions online about Highguard, Concord 2x KO and such, it is often pointed out by gamers that devs like to blame gamers for their failures, and that's just silly. That's silly. If gamers have no power, but they do, let me read this verbatim. As if gamers have no power, but they do, a lot of it. I'm not saying our failure is purely the fault of gamer culture, and that the game would have thrived without negative discourse, but it absolutely played a role. All products are at the whims of the consumers, and the consumers put absurd amounts of effort into slandering Highguard, and it worked. No. So all products are at the whims of consumers. Yeah, that's all we need to take. They slander it because it wasn't very good. Like, I don't understand. Like, I cannot get into this mindset. Like, I've said it in other videos, they must have all been sniffing each other's farts, whatever. But they're sitting down in their little bubble, and we've made a great thing. And employee B says, I really love this. Employee C, I really love this. Employee D, this is the best thing ever. Wow, we've made something great. And then they make the next thing, and it's the same thing again. And then the same thing again. It's like, guys, no one is giving you any kind of critical feedback. You need to be harsh at times and go, this is crap. It's not good enough. We need to do this again. Not go, that's fine. And I feel like this is just a game it's fine. Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. Good job. But then when it comes out into the public, it's like, what is this? It's it's fine, but it's not going to. How's it going to survive? One of these statements are crazy. It's crazy. Any product is at the whim of a consumer. If you make a crap product, people will not buy it, right? There's plenty of companies out there with horrific negativity, but people buy their products because they need them, right? A lot of arseholes run these companies as well. But I mean, what is going on here? This is so odd. Many of Wildgate's former devs will now be forced to assimilate back into the actual corporate industry many gamers accuse Wildlight of being a part of, which is crazy because you could even argue that Highguard is like almost the distillation of like a bland EA game. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? Like some focus group game. They were supposed to be escaping that, ended up just making it. Anyway, it's like the great irony of it. Oh my God. Now and every time someone thinks about leaving the golden handcuffs behind in favor of making a new multiplayer game, the indie way, they'll say, but remember how gamers didn't even give Wildlight a chance? Soon, if this pattern continues, all that will be left are corporations, at least in the multiplayer space. Innovation is on life support. Even if Highguard had a rocky launch, our independent, self-published, dev-led studio full of passionate people just trying to make a fun game with zero AI and zero corporate oversight deserve better than this. I mean, this is like me sitting here going, I deserve 100 million subscribers on YouTube. Didn't happen though, but I do deserve it. I didn't use AI. What? I can't understand this logic. This logic is like, again, looking for issues instead of looking at themselves and going, well, this maybe wasn't the best thing we did. You know, this is actually this is a crazy statement. There's a lot of things you can pull apart from this. I'm not advocating for corporate oversight, but it's like maybe the fact there was none. So there was no adult in the room coming in and going, guys, this is shit. Like, what are we doing? I mean, you don't even, I can't, like, listen, lads, right? I walk into your game. The first fucking 10 minutes of your game, I'm like, right, what are we doing in the base, right? I've got to reinforce it, but all I can do is click on a wall to reinforce it. I'm struggling to see how many of the reinforced resources I've got to do. I think you get like 5 or whatever. And then I'm like, okay, what's the point of this? The wall can be destroyed pretty much instantly anyway, even when it's reinforced. So now I've just got to sort of wait now for the game to start. The game starts, and then we go to loot. The loot's all the same tier to begin with. There's not really any skirmishes breaking out. Maybe if the other team rush you at the start or whatever. But there's this point at the start of the game where there is no flow. Your game is all about, well, any game, you have to have constant engagement and reason for people to be playing. It should have been more fun. It wasn't. I'd be sitting there going, why aren't there different ways to defend the base? Why can't we build gun turrets? Cannon emplacements, things like that can be manned by people in the team. Maybe the game could start and we could just play defensively and that could pull the enemy team towards us. I don't know. There's a lot of different ways you could look at this, but there's just some very odd design decisions in this game, which I think anyone who would have looked at the game with any gaming background would have just gone, guys, what's this? But again, maybe whoever was in charge of it just went, nah, that's a load of bollocks. It's great. At the start of our game is incredible. So, don't worry about it. And again, that's only one example. There's loads and loads and loads of other examples. Anyway, I wish the best of luck to the few who remain at Wildlight. And I hope Highguard can stay the course. I still believe in it, and so do the fans we reached, who continue to champion it on subreddit, Discord, Twitch, and social media. Even though this adventure has come to an abrupt and emotionally challenging close, I don't regret 1 second of it. Clearly you do, because the post I've just read is mental. Now this is like a blacklist, right? This is like, what's this? I also just wanted to shout out some incredibly supportive journalists and creators who genuinely made a night and day difference in enduring the past 2 months. All of these folks deserve far more credit than they get for their empathy, intuition, and integrity. So for a start, right, and then it lists a load of people. Journalists, start with journalists. A journalist should be impartial, right? A journalist is, if they're given something, they look at it and they say, I think this, or this, and move on for it. If they say we don't like your thing because of this reason, so you're saying now they're not supportive. We don't want them. I only want the ones that tell me the good stuff. That is the root problem with your entire company, because people were only liking the positive shit. Not that, oh, we need a serious chat about this. It's just like, everything's fine. It's all great. We'll launch a thing. Oh no, it's collapsed. How could this be? This is bonkers. I'm flabbergasted reading that. I'm actually flabbergasted. That is so weird. That is so weird. That is so weird. That is so weird. I don't know who any of these people are anyway, so I don't see any names jumping out. But anyway, the image below was drawn by me for the Tech Art Team t-shirt. I plan on printing it for us soon. Some of the best times of my life were spent with these people. Right. So, I mean, that's whatever. Like, you know, the person's had an experience. They've made a game. They've been locked. This is my takeaway from this. And I think this reflects onto the whole company and the way this game was just never really going to achieve anything. No, it appears nobody was critical about this game during its development process. Everyone thought everything was great all of the time. Now, after years and years of this happening together over and over again, There's going to be a collective group thing here where people are just convincing themselves this is great, this is the best thing ever. And then I think what happens to them is they've clearly showed it to Jeff Keighley. He's gone, it's great, I love this shit. Well, he just liked it for whatever reason. You can like certain things, that's fine. Maybe not in a critical way, looking at it and going, well, this could be better, that could be better. Maybe we could do this, right? So that didn't happen. And what happened was, as soon as the public got hold of this, they realized, oh my God, the public this isn't really that interesting. It's kind of mid, right? It's a middle of the road game. It isn't going to set the world on fire. It's probably really going to struggle because it's going to need hundreds of thousands of players to have them spending any amount of money to keep this game alive, right? That didn't happen. We know that didn't happen. This, as you know, it's sad people lose their job because of that, but the writing was on the wall. This isn't some sort of, I get the impression this developer is, we've made a legitimately good product, but the naysayers out there have taken us down. We did a great job. And that to me is still that insane collective groupthink of what we've made here is great. It was not great. This is just another example of developers going away and burning tons of cash and then just producing nothing as a result of it. And I'm sorry, this is the world we live in. If you're not going to make a product which people are going to play, it doesn't matter. Now, there's a lot of products out there. There's loads of indie games. Mugenics is doing really well at the moment. Last check on that, it sold like 500,000 copies in 24 hours or maybe 36 hours, something insane like that. Yeah, it's a small indie team, right? But they're making games people want. People want to play, right? No one wants to play Highguard, and that's clear by what's happened to Highguard. All right, guys, thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below. And yeah, I've been Stylosa, and I'll catch you lovely lot on the next video. And in fact, I will say this, just at the very end of the video. If the company was structured in a different way, because I do think there is something here with Highguard, good shooting mechanics, and the raid thing is a good idea. It just needs really cleaning up. They didn't have enough financial runway to keep the company going. One company that did was No Man's Sky. Well, game, I should say. They launched and were terrible. Look at them now. They are a massive recovery story. They managed to stay the course and take feedback and deal with it. Overwatch is another example, but maybe not as fair because, you know, they're in a massive multi-billion-dollar, well, trillion-dollar company in Microsoft, so it's a little bit different there. But still, without having the chance to recover, give them no chance to pivot, the company itself literally fucked itself, which again is a problem. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm out of here. I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, like the video. I'll catch you on the next one. See you soon.